So Adrien Broner wins a unanimous 12-round decision over Emmanuel Taylor for the vacant WBA International Light Welterweight title. It was a competitive fight, a pretty fun fight. Emmanuel Taylor, slightly taller, coming forward, putting the pressure on Broner. Not the devastating, heavy-handed puncher that Marcus Maidana is. So, and not as awkward as well as Maidana, so he wasn't really able to be as effective as Maidana was. But nonetheless, he did have success, especially in the first half of the fight, I thought. As it went on, Broner was picking nice shots here and there. And Broner did okay. It wasn't a spectacular performance. Emmanuel Taylor's not a true world-level fighter. He's a solid fighter. This was not a spectacular performance by Broner, but it was a decent win, and he managed to score a knockdown late in the fight. A lot of people were not impressed, but I don't know, man. Broner does have skills, but when he was at the lower weight classes, he really looked a lot better because the guys were not as big and strong as the guys he's facing now. He was able to hurt the guys a lot easier, drop them, take them out. He was on a knockout streak, if you remember, back down at lightweight and super featherweight. So it's a bit different now. He's moved up in weight, and the difference, one of the many differences between him and Floyd Mayweather is that Broner's not as tall and rangy as Floyd. So even though Floyd himself was a pretty small guy moving up, he's similar to Broner, I guess, in terms of actual body weight. But Floyd has got them long limbs and he's taller. So it was easier for him to, I mean, there are many reasons, but I'm just giving you one reason. It was easier for him to adjust to fighting bigger guys because he's, even though he doesn't have maybe the muscle mass or the bone density of a naturally bigger guy, he at least has the dimensions in terms of the height and reach. Whereas Broner's a short guy, short, thick set guy, and doesn't have advantages of height and reach over pretty much any of his opponents now, either at 147 or at 140. So that's always going to be a bit of a problem for Broner. I did notice as well that Broner slightly switched up his style in this fight, and he's trying to move away from fighting like Floyd. And I think some of the things that Broner does, like the shoulder roll, actually work for him in some fights. So I don't think he should necessarily abandon that completely, because I do think the shoulder roll does work for him in some fights. Boxing is all about adapting, and if you can use certain defensive strategies in certain fights and others in other fights, then that's what it's all about. So I don't think he should, because, for example, against DeMarco, the shoulder roll worked very well. So I don't think he should abandon it completely. But I did notice in this fight against Emmanuel Taylor that he wasn't on that shoulder roll thing too much, and he was just putting the earmuffs on, as Teddy Atlas likes to say instead, which I don't really like. That's something that's got Amir Khan in trouble a lot, when he just puts his hands up and just tries to stand there in front of his opponent and block shots, because Broner don't use his legs that much. So I'd like to see a bit more slipping and sliding from Broner rather than just putting the earmuffs on and letting opponents whack away at his defense. So anyway, that's just my take on the fight. Where would you like to see Broner go from here? Would you like to see him fight Lucas Matthysse, Danny Garcia? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you think he would fare against any of those guys. Drop your comments below. This is Hatman. I'm out.